Prophets, they came to remind us. Shaykh, when he passed, and I had to give sohbet, although throughout the years he says, talk a little bit. I talk. I don't give sohbet, I talked. But after Shaykh, when he passed, and I know certain things I have to do, and I'm thinking, what can I say that everyone has not heard? Everyone has heard before, from the source. Then what can I say on top of that? Nothing. So I was pretty sad for a while. Then I remembered. Shaykh, when he says our job is just to remind. Not my words, just to repeat. Repeat and remind. Reminding means everything is inside of you already. Understand, the Quran is already there in the heart. It's just reminding. So, safety will come to that person who says, this is not mine, this is not my words. I'm not saying something new. I'm not claiming this is mine. But what I may tell you, something new, is just what my own experience to this is. I can tell you. And if anything that comes from the heart, it will reach to the heart. Something that comes from the mind, it may not reach to the mind, because majority of the people, they are no mind people. They're using this only for dunya, not for akhirat. They use this for dunyawi, let's say, knowledge. Or even if it's religion, is knowledge of religion that is not from here, is from here. As what is that? People also get very upset with me, as they did with Shaykh. He says, so you guys are not encouraging people to learn about Islam. You're stopping them from reading books, going to madrasa and this and that. You don't understand. We're not saying that. We're saying there is a knowledge that is higher than that, and that is more important. And in these days, everyone is trying to be an alim. There is no shortage of knowledge. You open up that phone, you can do anything that you want and learn anything that you want, even religious, so-called spiritual knowledge, no? But there is another kind of knowledge of adab that you need to have a guide. You cannot do that like that, through the phone. And for that, not only you need a guide, but you need proper place to do it. Proper place. You need a dargah. Longest time, Shaykh, when he had a dargah on 42nd Street, 39th Street, next to 42nd Street, once a week. You spend hours there, coming in, 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., waiting for all the murids to come in and out, in and out. He will stay whole night long, and he'll leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. Once a week. Then he opened up this dargah here, where now it's not only once a week, now every day, for those who want that kind of knowledge. With that kind of knowledge, you need a special place. Any kind of knowledge that you want to learn, it needs a special place. You want to be a lawyer, you cannot be a lawyer learning law in a slaughterhouse. You cannot learn how to be a butcher in a medical school. You need your special place. You need special people, special time. Then you're going to learn something. People are so particular, dunya, they understand. I must wear the uniform, I must pay the money, I must have these teachers, But when it comes to spirituality, they say, no, no, no. Anything, anywhere, anyone. Teacher, no teacher. Once a week, no once a week. Doesn't matter. Those who have higher aspirations, they will know. I cannot have this once a week, I must have it more. Those who have higher aspirations, that they say, because I cannot do more than once a week, now when I'm there, I must try to absorb as much as I can. That's okay too. That is okay. So, to show something, to remind you, to remind myself, This is not only for you. It's for all of us. It's for me first, we're saying. So I was a little bit shy. Then I said, I have to remind and I have to speak. Now we're going to show a little bit different, because this is my own experience. And it is important, because the best kind of knowledge is the knowledge that you experience. Not just something that you read. You cannot. So alhamdulillah. Now that time when you're experiencing that knowledge here, then they may open up a situation where say, okay, now you have to go here to open up this kind of knowledge. Then you have to travel with them to do this and to do this. Traveling, it is a sunnat of prophets. Not traveling for vacation, not traveling for your nafs, not traveling where you're running away from the face of Allah. And those ones that they are traveling and living properly here, putting in their heart, trying to fight, where you can be, where Allah is not going to be, where you can go, where? And at that time, anywhere you go, you are looking for that, and you are understanding that. It's one of the reasons why Hazrat Shams, what did he do? Hazrat Maulana, looking for Allah, to have the passion for Allah, to look for Allah. Where? He took him out from the madrasas. Where did he bring him to? To places that at that time especially, they say, this is the last place you're going to learn. All those so wrong places, let's say. But today's people, they're going to use that as an excuse. Today's spiritually high people, they use that as an excuse. You see, Shams Tabriz brought Maulana to this wrong place, to this wrong place, to this wrong, to explain, to understand what is it. Oh, they can do that, so I can do that too. I'm a Sufi, so I can go to clubs, I can go to, where else they go to? Oh, mashallah, none of you know. You know, we find out, all those wrong places. They say it's okay because they did that, I'm doing that too. Some people, they go to this, Shaykh Effendi used to say, discotheque. Right? Discotheque. He's saying, some people I know, because they think they're so Sufi, they go to these places and they start whirling, they start looking for Allah there. It's no good too. You're doing it for your ego now. Or they go and they have, how you say? Jam? Huh? Grapes? Grave. Rave. They go rave, they go to their grave. Big trouble. Yeah, go to rave, trying to find. What happened? Because you're bored in the masjid? There's a problem now. You're bored. Are you going there to pull people? No, you're not. You're going there to enjoy yourself. So we should not fool ourselves with these kinds of things. Huh? To learning the manners, one thing we have to say, it is not just to be so sweet with your words, to be so soft, to always be humble looking. One thing that the khutbah is not mentioning, manners also means protocol. The manner, the way in which you have to behave. In front of the king, the protocol is like this, the manner is like this, yes? In front of your father, it's like this. In front of the child, it is like this. In front of a betrayer, it is like this. In front of an enemy, it is like this. Yes? You understand? That is the manners. In front of your friends, it's like this. In front of believer is like this. In front of an unbeliever is like this. But to know each, you cannot now treat an unbeliever as you would treat Allah. You cannot. You cannot even treat a man the same way you treat a woman. You cannot. As the Prophet says, you have to treat them each according to their own level, their own maqam. to find their maqam. And I don't mean maqam as in spiritually, but to find where their heart is, what they are. The prophets, look what they did. They can sit with the poor and with the rich, with the children and with the elderly. He makes them feel comfortable. He's speaking to them and he touches their hearts. How a person is able to do that? To move to different let's say sections, different people, different levels. How is a person able to do that? How? How is a Prophet ﷺ able to do that? Once, there was a Sahabi. He was looking for his son. He couldn't find his son. He started looking and he saw his son playing with a couple of kids from the neighborhood. And the Prophet ﷺ was watching them. So the Sahabi went to the Prophet ﷺ saying, it is time, can I take my son? And he says, let him play a little bit longer. So he waited. Then after that he said, can I have permission to take him now? Let him play a little bit longer. Third time he asked, Prophet says, yes, get your son, but don't call him by saying, oh my son, come. Call by his name, but don't say, oh my son, come. And Sahabi Kiram, the Sahabi was wondering, saying to the Prophet ﷺ, saying, may I ask what is the reason? Because especially at that time, they always talk to their children, oh, they use Ibn, if your name is Muaz, they say, oh, Ibn Muaz, the son of Muaz, come. You're not going to use the kid's name. Oh, my son, you didn't say come. So Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, because he's playing with orphans, and if you say, oh, my son, come, it's going to be very sad. The rest of the children. Because they don't have a father. So just call him by his name. How delicate is that? Huh? How delicate is that? And the Holy Prophet ﷺ knowing that, because he understood. Why? Because he's a yatim as well, no? He's an orphan. A few things will make you to be able to be good with people on every level. Few things. One of those things is when you experience what they experienced. They call empathy, not sympathy, empathy. They are like that, you have experienced what they're experiencing, you understand. So you go from that language, that level. And people in the spiritual way, they will make you to experience more so that you'll be able to understand. Just as the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he experienced so much. For his entire ummah he experienced. Which is why thousands of years later he can still speak to the hearts. That's one. And if you have not experienced in the spiritual way, you have not experienced that, they will make you to experience. Otherwise your training is not complete. If you never experience that kind of a sadness, they'll make you to experience. If not all, a little bit, so that you know. Then that time, your experience, your knowledge will be greater. It hurts, but now you'll be able to reach to people who are hurt. And you're going to understand them, and you'll be able to speak according to their level and that knowledge. That's one. So, having that experience and understanding that will make you to be able to move and to talk to people. Sometimes it's very difficult. Because most of the experience that we're talking about, they are not easy experiences, they're difficult experiences. Whether those experiences you went through, Allah is putting you for that. Whether you choose yourself or you don't, it's there. Inshallah, we will try. We must try. We must try to have the manners, we must try to have the intelligence to move according to the levels and according to the protocol, not to mix up things. I'm saying this because a lot of people are stuck. They say manners? Well, manners means you have to be nice all the time. No, that's not what manners means. Manners means you have to act according to the situation, according to the level, and according to the person. So they get confused sometimes if they see Shaykh Effendi being very harsh. They say, you must be humble, you must be nice. No. When you are dealing with people according to that level, you have to go according to that level. When you're speaking to children, you talk about toys. When you're speaking to animals, they only will listen to a very harsh voice. You're listening to them and you say, this is a person who has no manners. No. When you tell a dog to sit, you have to give it in a very clear way. It doesn't mean that you are mean or you are bad. The manners is important. So, we'll try slowly, inshallah. May Allah forgive me and bless you. We must think. We must run after this kind of knowledge. Because without the proper situation, you are not going to be able to practice your faith. You learn, people coming to the masjid, jami, they are listening to all of this, they go out, the whole world and everything is telling them the complete opposite. How are you going to practice this? Where are you going to practice it? So you always become schizophrenic. When you're with them, you have to at least, as if you have to put aside your Islam. That's not healthy. So run to those places where you can practice. Inshallah, Allah accept our good intentions. Our actions may be very weak. We are weak creatures. We are not claiming anything. But may Allah accept our strong intentions for His sake, for the Holy Prophet's sake, inshallah. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. Al-Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum.